Oh yeah, Stevie Ray Vaughan, Habits. The Habits series, which I am making a series out of this now after the wild amount of requests that I got after I did Habits of Steve Vai, which I'll link at the end of this video if you want to watch that. Habits are more important than learning licks. I think it's more important to understand the habits of our favorite guitar players so that we don't just sound like lesser versions of them, because nobody's ever going to sound like Stevie Ray Vaughan except Stevie Ray Vaughan. I'm not trying to emulate his tone in this video as much as I'm trying to tease out his habits and his practices, the things that make us love his guitar playing. So the first habit SRV has is his tendencies for rhythm. If you want to become a better rhythm guitar player, just listen to Stevie Ray Vaughan and try and learn some of his rhythmic devices. I'm going to show you one here. I'll call it the SRV shuffle. It's that shuffle groove that is unmistakably Stevie, and it's very simple as far as the rhythm is concerned. The technique lends itself to allowing you to find that pocket very easily once you have the technique down, meaning it's such a groovy rhythm that you will not play it any other way but perfectly. You won't play it a little bit off and be like, it's good enough. It's one technique that I found has to be grooving, but it lends itself to grooviness. Let's check it out. So the first point is just mute the strings with your left hand. We're gonna only concentrate on the right hand picking rhythm, and it's an upstroke and a downstroke. And the motion is like, so it's eighth notes, but it's swung. So when I pull my hand up, I'm kind of like pulling it out there. It's like a flowing motion. So I'm bringing my hand up to the top and then throwing it back down, real loosey-goosey. So it has this feel of just airiness, this real pocket groove that you want to find. So here's where it starts to get a little tricky with the left hand muting. So we have this whole thing, we're strumming all 6 strings. So it's a simple rhythm, but it's really about this articulation, letting the strings go in order to hit a note and then muting them immediately afterwards so we don't get all those strings ringing out. So you don't have to learn the Stevie Ray Vaughan lick, you can just play a standard. But if you do want to learn the Stevie Ray Vaughan lick, it is. So we have. So really the left hand is where everything comes together as far as this technique goes. Every string that I want to ring out is fretted, of course, and then every other string is covered either by the bottom part of my finger or by my thumb. If I only want these 2 notes to ring out, I am strumming all the strings, but as you can hear, everything is muted underneath. Here's a side angle. Notice, those are all taken care of. And when I move on to the next set of strings, I have my thumb coming up to mute this thick E. And as you can see, I'm fretting right here, and then same concept. So this is the exercise I would practice, just the 2nd fret of the A string, 4th fret of the A string, and just going. And then you can use that technique to form your own licks. It doesn't have to be Stevie Ray Vaughan. So like I mentioned, I'm not teaching you Stevie Ray Vaughan licks, I'm just teaching you habits, so that way you can apply those habits and take what you like out of them and form your own music. So the next habit of Stevie Ray Vaughan is to blend the minor and major pentatonic sounds together to achieve his really SRV sound. So the E minor will be in the key of E minor to stick with the tonality of the video. Everybody knows the E minor first position, root position pentatonic scale, right? So now, taking this same exact position but changing it to major pentatonic, we would have this. And a side note, if you don't know the major and minor pentatonic scales, I have a lesson on that. Just look up blending major and minor pentatonic scales and you'll find it on my channel. So now with those two tonalities, we can form Stevie Ray Vaughan style licks using certain tendencies, habits, that he would employ. So this was a real habit of Stevie's. He would take a regular kind of blues lick and then he would find ways to doctor it up, either using chromatic notes or major pentatonic notes. So something like this. So he has these notes, and we have a couple major pentatonics, and then we have this chromatic note actually. So and then he would come back down the blues scale. And sticking with that minor pentatonic shape, another thing that was habitual and built into Stevie's playing was the double stops. They were everywhere. He always had multiple notes ringing, especially when he was trying to convey some aggression, like. So this bend is very aggressive. I have my bridge pickup on, so it's a little hum there, but I'm actually grabbing almost 3 notes here. I bend up, and as you can see, my hand is already floating over both of these other strings and grabbing them. So maybe a traditional bend would just be like, with all those other ones muted, but Stevie would be so intense. So that's kind of like an unteachable thing, right? The aggression. You just have to have that fire in your soul when you play. That's definitely a staple of SRV. He was the angriest guitar player. He would just slam his strings with no remorse, and it was definitely translated in his playing, definitely came through. So he did use, you know, like 12, 13 gauge strings and down tuned to E flat, so that'll give you that richer tone. But again, I'm not going for the tone, I'm not going for exact precise licks to show you, because frankly I can't do it as good as SRV, nobody can. So my goal is to just give you the habits of these awesome guitar players, and I'm going to continue to make these kind of videos because I think they're fun and you guys have asked for them. So leave a comment if you have another guitar player you'd like the habits of. I got a lot of suggestions already, but there's always room for more. The last thing I'll end it on is this kind of thing that SRV would do, where he would have the flat 5 kind of pull off volume. How about that? That was a really cool, if I give you any direct licks to take, this is definitely one of them, because it's only able to be played in that way in this part of the neck, because it's an open string thing. Of course you can transpose that. So take that one if you want to, but it's a really cool way to end a phrase. So enjoy these SRV habits, apply them to your own playing, from the shuffle, from that to the double stops, to the mixing of minor and major pentatonic sounds, to the kind of ending phrase. By the way, if you want to sign up for my course called Modern Rock Guitar Techniques, it is coming out on Monday, 12/12/16. So sign up for the email list. You could possibly win free access. And if you're watching this sometime in the future, then sign up below. The course is already out. All right, I'll see you guys next time. Later.